Hello, friends. Glad you could join us. Thanks for tuning in. So, today I have a special guest with me. I met this gentleman last September 2016, at the World Parkinson Congress in Portland, Oregon. And this person is somebody who really moved me and inspired me very much because I saw a couple of his presentations. He happens to be battling Parkinson's disease, diagnosed in 2009. And rather than me say much more about my guest, I want to introduce him and have him tell you about himself, his story, and I'll tell you, he has so much to share, and I can't wait to bring it to you. So, without further ado, I want to welcome my very special guest, Andy McDowell. Andy, thank you so much for taking this time and joining me.
That's my absolute pleasure, Carl.
It was great to meet you last year. Your presentation there at WPC, well, I saw more than one presentation you gave, very powerful. And so I'm really glad you're able to join and share because, you know, you're an inspiration to a lot of people. You're an inspiration to me. And I can't wait to bring this to my audience and share. So let me start by this. We were talking before we started the camera rolling here. You were diagnosed with PD in 2009, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. What were your first symptoms, and how long between the symptom and then diagnosis?
Like many people with PD, it's a bit of a rocky road, the diagnosis, and particularly when you're early onset, it often gets missed by the general doctors. So I kind of had a whole bunch of major life events happen that got confused with PD and depression.
Okay.
So I kind of had my business wind up. I had a major relationship breakup. I had my father died, and I had my first child and got married, all within 5 years.
Oh.
So I was struggling to cope with all those individual things, and I presented to my doctor with what she diagnosed as depression.
Okay.
Surprisingly, depression goes hand in hand with no dopamine. So she was right, but she was missing the big picture.
Uh-huh.
But it's not surprising, you know, you're 48. I was 43 years old, and doctors don't expect to be seeing people with early onset Parkinson's, so it's not surprising, but I finally got a referral to a neurosurgeon who did a full MRI scan, and he noted the symptoms, but said I had no stroke, no tumour, nothing that he could operate on. So I thought I got the big brain tip from the brain guy.
Right.
But what he said was, you know, if these symptoms keep going for another 6 months, go and see a neurologist. And I didn't really understand the distinction between the two. So it wasn't until another year that I actually fronted up to a neurologist, and he took about 10 seconds to give me a diagnosis. And he did the old, I've got good news and bad news.
Right.
And it was like the bad news is you got Parkinson's, the good news is we've got drugs that can treat it. And
okay.
He tried to make light of it, but it's not much fun getting that particular diagnosis.
Oh, no. I mean, I can't even imagine because I haven't been there, but that's what I hear when I interview people or my clients, and they tell me about that news when it gets delivered to them.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of medications, what did you start out with, and what were the effects? Because I know we're going to lead into the next thing you had done, which was you presented about at the conference. But before we talk about the DBS, for example, what medications were you taking, and what were the effects of those?
Yeah, well, I was pretty much straight I put on to Cinnamate, which is a dopamine, levodopa.
Mm-hmm.
And I responded quite well to that, although within a pretty short period of time I was suffering from quite massive dyskinesia. Now, I'm just allowed on whether it's levodopa induced dyskinesia or whether it was just dyskinesia as a result of Parkinson's. But what I can tell you, and what you can probably see, is that if you've seen any of my videos pre-DBS, I was I was very jerky and very dyskinetic and I was all over the show. So now, I'm basically tremor free.
I mean, that's amazing. Yeah, because I noted when at the conference they were playing a video, either maybe right before your presentation or maybe it was in the middle, and there was the before and the after. And of course, you were right in front of us speaking. I mean, that's an amazing difference because you had a lot of movement happening there for a while.
Yeah, I was busy. I was 72 kilos dripping wet, so I was very skinny. I couldn't put any weight on.
Okay.
And what was interesting, post DBS, I put on a serious amount of weight, some of which was muscle, which was good news, but I was carrying quite a lot around my belly. And it wasn't until I actually started training for Machu Picchu, which we'll talk about a bit later.
Yeah.
I've got myself back into a lean, mean fighting machine.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great, man. Yeah, we're going to get to that in a minute because that is I want to hear all about it. So let's move forward now with the movement you had going on. Another step needed to be taken, or you chose to take another step, and that's the deep brain stimulation surgery, so the DBS. And when did that occur? When did you have that done?
Well, I got back from Montreal, the WPC Montreal, end of 2013. And I was much to my surprise, this is 5 years after I've been diagnosed, my neurologist said to me, have you thought about DBS? And I was like, no. Because I'd actually had a friend who'd gone through the procedure and he was similar in that he'd been diagnosed 5 years previously and then had DBS suggested to him, noted which he went through. And AJ was kind of like my role model for the procedure.
Okay.
I'd seen the benefits, and he described it as a band-aid, a bloody good one, but it is only a band-aid.
Okay.
But for me, it was about quality of life and also about my kids.
Sure.
So I was getting to the point where I was struggling to drive. I was very tired, and my voice isn't great, but it wasn't doing so well. So it was kind of like easy for me to make the decision based on my kids' experience with me.
Sure.
And that has absolutely worked a treat. DBS was one of the most difficult things I've done in my life, but it's only a couple of days.
Now, and so that was done what year?
I actually been joking this time. I think it was 2 years ago.
Okay.
It might have been 3. I get a bit confused.
No, that's fine. I have a feeling. I think at the WPC last year, you were a little over a year after the surgery.
I think it's 2 years.
Yeah. And I was just, it's amazing. And I think, is any of this on your YouTube channel? Because you have a YouTube channel that has a lot of great stuff on it. So I can put a link on the screen here for the people to go watch. But are the before and after videos on there?
I think there is. If they can't find them, go to Attitude Live and put McDowell or Parkinson's in attitudelive.com.
Okay, yeah, I'll put a link to that on the screen too, because it's real. That's an education right there. That really shows possibility of what can the positive changes that can occur. So let me ask you this: how is your quality of life now compared to before the DBS?
Well, I still got Parkinson's.
Right, exactly.
It's the obvious, and it's just got a progressive degenerative neurological disorder, but my quality of life and my lack of tremor.
Yeah.
I mean, I've still got this thing which is pretty merciless, but I can drive. I can feed my kids. I can exercise. A hell of a lot more effectively than I could when I was all over this show.
Okay.
My out of control movement. So I've been doing a lot of training and walking leading up to my Machu Picchu walk.
Yeah, I want to get to that, but before I get to this latest venture, a couple weeks ago, back in July, one of the things that really impresses me about you is your attitude and your approach and how you're dealing with this. Because, I think that was for a lot of people at the conference, and there were, well, I don't know how many thousand people watching you, but there were thousands. The room was packed. And that was very, very moving in how you were conveying your attitude towards how you're dealing with this. PD doesn't define you, it's not who you are. But would you mind sharing a little bit about your approach, the mindset behind this?
My approach is pretty practical. I mean, you, I got dealt a bad hand, and there are worse hands to be dealt. So you just gotta just keep putting one foot in front of the other. And it's kind of funny. I haven't really set out to achieve any of the things I've achieved, but I just keep setting goals and keep looking for opportunities to be bigger than my smallness of the disease. And I mean, I wrote a poem called Bigger about 6 months after I wrote my poem called Smaller. I kind of, that kind of set my mind to look for opportunities to be bigger than the disease. And it starts at home with my kids and my family. And my
I have
wife.
to interject. I'm sorry I'm interrupting, but I watched that video again a few days ago. That's very powerful. So that's another link I can put on here. I mean, that video is beautiful.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of really weird because I wrote that poem to my kids, and one thing led to another, and because I'm a marketing advertiser, I kind of had some context, and I knew how to. I had a kind of. Do you remember Clutch Cargo? The cartoon character, the Clutch Cargo.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
know, when I first thought of Smaller as a video, I kind of had that Clutch Cargo kind of picture in my mind of someone telling the story, and then of course the PA resistance was having my daughter Lily narrate it.
Yeah.
Because that was the thing that made the huge difference. I think if I'd read it out, it wouldn't have half the power coming from this innocent little 6-year-old.
For those people watching, this video is so powerful. It's short, it's sweet, it's powerful, and I would highly recommend watching it. It's just a great testament to the attitude that Andy's taken towards this, which is, to me is a huge inspiration. So I watched it the other day. It's really great. And you're talking about putting one foot in front of the other. You tremors, you're tremor free. You're doing some really cool stuff. And now we have to talk about Machu Picchu because obviously there you're putting feet in front of the other for a long time, climbing up this huge mountain. So now this was in July, right?
Yeah,
Mid-July.
just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
So the first thing I want
Tell us about
to
Machu
I
Picchu
didn't.
because that's just an amazing thing to me. I would love to hear all about it. What was that like? What's that experience? And how did you come up with that goal too?
Well, it wasn't my goal. I got Enzo Simone, who's been running a project called the 10 Mountains in 10 years over the last, it's now 12 years since we've been more than 10 mountains, I think. But he started a mountain block in 2006, and subsequently there have been 500 people who've joined him and climbed various mountains over the last decade. And the most recent one was to go to Machu Picchu, which is obviously within reach of someone like myself. Most of the others are reasonably technical mountains. But Brian Grant did Mount Washington, I think.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, he did.
That's part of the 10 Mountains project. So I just, at the end of leading into the WPC last year, I had my plenary, and I kind of knew at the end of that, I'd come out of that, I'd have nothing to do. So I decided to try and get to Peru and to walk the Inca Trail. And it was a bit of a big hairy goal, but I got there, and I didn't actually make the whole trip. I walked in on day one, 11 kilometers or 7 miles, and then day two I walked out. I returned rather than went over the top pass because I just knew I wouldn't be able to do it. But 4 people with Parkinson's did do it. And they were aged 51, 68, 72, and 64.
Mm-hmm.
They're incredible people. Incredibly resilient and strong. I was looking after myself and doing what I could do. But it was an amazing project to be involved in. It was about raising awareness of Alzheimer's and Parkinson's.
Sure, yeah. Well, I tell you, I was watching the posts. Of course, the pictures are beautiful, and
it's a beautiful country.
Yeah, it makes me want to go and have a visit there. So so how many people were with you on this particular one?
28.
Okay, awesome. Now, when you're back now, you're back in New Zealand.
I'm back.
Yeah. No, I didn't ask you. I didn't tell you I was going to ask you this because I didn't know because I just thought of it. But what's in the future now for you? What are you looking at? Any type of particular goals that you set out to achieve?
I knew you'd ask me that.
I didn't know I was going to ask you that. It just occurred to me.
It's funny. I had a friend drop in the other day and he said, "So what's next?" I said, "I don't know. I haven't really got any particular physical goals in mind."
Mm-hmm.
But it's been announced that I've been appointed as WPC ambassador for New Zealand. So that's going to take a fair amount of my energy over the next 18 months.
Well, I think that what you've accomplished already is so impressive. It's inspiring. And one of the things that you mentioned earlier was that you were dealt a bad hand, but you could have been dealt a worse hand. And to me, that's
I'm still alive. I mean, we're still breathing and still things to do.
Exactly. And I think that it seems to me, I mean, I might be being presumptuous here, but with a lot of people I meet, actually, when they get dealt a bad hand, or what they feel is being dealt a bad hand, maybe it is to them. I'm not here to judge whether it is or not. They're not looking at the other side, that they could have had a worse hand dealt to them. And so they end up in this spiral downward when really, in reality, it just seems like they could probably take a different approach to this. And we have a mutual friend, Omatola Thomas, who I just saw yesterday in New York. And I interviewed her recently, and it's interesting because she said same things. Things have been difficult, but things could be much worse. I heard it from you, I heard it from her, I've heard it from countless people and a lot of my clients. And to me, that is just an amazing attitude. I guess you have choices though, right? You could choose a different attitude and life could really, really be bad because you just choose to make it that way. But you decide up here and in here in your heart, I'm going to take control of the best of my ability. So I appreciate your attitude towards that and sharing that with us, because I'll tell you, man, that's a game changer in quality of life as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I visited, which you already know, but I'm sharing with viewers. As I mentioned earlier, I met Andy at the WPC, so World Parkinson Congress in Portland, Oregon. They have this amazing conference every 3 years. So I'm putting in a plug right now for 2019 in June 4th to June 7th in Japan. And
come to Kyoto.
Yeah, I don't think I have the brochure right here with me, and actually I wish I did. But it's an amazing event, and what I really like about it, look at, here it is, okay. What I like about this is that we had a beautiful mix of people with PD, caregivers. Eli and I were talking yesterday. I think she said there was something like 12 or 1,300 people with a combination of PD and caregivers, but probably more people with PD than caregivers because a lot of them will come on their own. We had scientists, we had neurologists, we had people from the medical world. There were a few fitness people there. So the blend was so cool. It was awesome. And we got to mingle and learn from everybody. And the breakout sessions were really powerful. Andy was speaking, which was amazing. And you're an ambassador for 2019, I see. Congratulations on that, by the way.
I've got to plug it down here in this part of the world. So get as many people as we can from New Zealand up to Canada.
Okay. So you are, but you'll be in Japan 2019.
I sure will.
WPC, I can't wait.
Hopefully I'll be bringing my family.
Oh, fantastic. That's fantastic. So I guess my point with that is we met there. It's a great conference, and you can learn so much because it's a combination of people with PD, caregivers, and all the medical people. So it was fantastic. And I'm really looking forward to that conference in 2 years. So
It's an amazing environment.
Yeah, I'm out to recruit as many people as possible to go, especially those from the medical world, because I feel like they could benefit so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, listen, Andy, I have a list here of things. We have talked about all of them actually right now. And I really just wanted two more things. Number one, I want to thank you for the time again. We've been trying to connect for a while, and I had technical problems before you went to Machu Picchu, and it just didn't work. But this is working. So I appreciate you joining me. And
De nada, amigo, as I say in Spain.
Pardon?
De nada, amigo.
Well, what I wanted to ask you is, before we sign off, do you have any advice for anybody out there dealing with PD or a caregiver, as far as, let's say, a takeaway message? If there's one thing you could say, one piece of advice you would give, what would that be?
Yeah, I was reading a quote from Martin Luther King the other day. It was along the lines of if you can't run and walk, if you can't walk, if you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, just move. And for me, I appreciate that not everyone can get out there and box or go to the gym. But if you've got PD, you need to move.
Keep moving.
Yeah, keep moving. And the earlier you start moving, and it's about putting effort into it. You know, do LSVT big, do PD warrior, do rock city boxing. You know, get involved with a group of people. I swim in a group. I do a PD warrior type thing. I've still got my sweats on from that this morning.
Great.
And I bought.
That's great, man. I tell you, that stuff is so good for all of us. You know, what it does to the brain, even just the mere fact that you get some of that BDNF going, it can help to, so according to the neurologists, some research says it might even slow disease progression of various diseases.
No, but it's fun too, and it's good to get a sweat out.
Yep, it's just good. Keep moving. Keep moving. I love that advice, Andy. I think it's great. Good for everyone. Keep moving.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you got PD or not.
Yep, that's right. Well, once again, I am really honored to have you as my guest on this program. I'm looking forward to sharing this. And thank you. Thank you again, my friend.
My absolute pleasure, Carl. You're doing great work, mate.
Go out to try and help as many people as possible, because in my observation, I think a lot of people need help, and a lot of the help they need is hope.
Yeah.
Once hope is gone, a lot of other things go with it, and it's a spiral downward for many. So when they see somebody who has something going on that may be a lot worse than what they're dealing with, or not, But either way, these people like you are influencing others positively, motivating them and helping them and offering, well, this is amazing. He's doing this. Well, I need to get up and I need to get doing something. He's moving. So I think I better move. And the more we do that kind of thing, the better we all are, the better off we all are. So I know you're out to share you've shared your story a lot all over. And I want to bring it to my people. So now I'm going to do that. So thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Well, I'm going to wrap up, and I want to thank all of you for watching. So during this, you'll see a couple of links appearing on the screen. I definitely recommend going and checking out these various links because Andy has some great stuff out there. You're going to love watching it. It's a great story, great motivation, and inspiration to action. So thanks again, buddy. Thank you, everyone for watching. Have a fantastic day.